Welcome back. The paint is obviously dry. It's the next day. It looks good. We have a lot of really good coverage. We missed some spots up in here. Not that big of a deal. Again, I should have pulled all the boards, but it's just not. It's one of them things, again, as I've said numerous times, where do you draw the line? So moving on from some of that wall there looks really nice. Same thing with this end, really nice as well. And the back, really nice. I am gonna probably do a second coat. Whether or not it would need it, I don't know. We do have really good coverage, other than like maybe this board here. It really soaked it in. There's a couple boards that are like that down through there. So the ends for sure are gonna need a second coat, and it's not gonna hurt to put a second coat on anything. The only downfall is I don't know if I'm gonna have enough paint. And I think I have figured out what I would like to do on the inside. So rather than try and paint these boards, and since I'm not taking them off and paint around this, I think what I'm gonna do is cut a piece of plywood and we're gonna mount it right across here, up at minimum to this board coming across, but we might take it all the way up and go down. I don't know. But at minimum, we're gonna put a square piece in here, cover that, and honestly, we'll probably just cover this entire area to match it with the back wall, and we'll paint that all red on the inside. We'll do that on both sides. One thing I have to do, and I'm not sure why I did it that way, I put these kind of flat in here instead of on edge like these. So if I put a piece of plywood in here, what's gonna happen is now you're gonna have a void where the cash box is mounted. Now there's not gonna be really anything sturdy there to mount it to. I guess it wouldn't really matter as long as it's fastened to the plywood. I mean, I guess somebody could take the whole piece of plywood off and steal the box, but I don't know. It's a shame we have to think of things that way, but I'll figure something out for that. And I think the reason I did this way in the first place was to kind of give me a little bit more space and more room, because this is not huge. This is on the smaller side. Now, if this produce stand was complete, you know, junk and it was rotting, I wouldn't even be doing any of this to it. We would be taking this trailer, throwing some plywood down on this and starting over and starting fresh, and we'd build a big produce stand out of it. The problem is you wouldn't be able to really reach all the way to the back anyway. It'd be really hard. So this, I think, is going to be the perfect design for that trailer. I don't think we're doing anything with the roof. I think that's fine. That looks good to me. I'm not too worried about that. So I did find a full 4x8 sheet of plywood. I'm guessing from when I built the chicken house up there. So that's perfect. I can use that and patch in these ends and we'll be good to go. Here's the outline, so we're gonna just place that right like so. Plywood will go over the top, cash box will mount at the old location, and we'll be able to hit everything and probably go into all this and really anchor it in there. So first things first is we're going to set that back in there, and we're gonna pre-drill some holes, because pallet boards are really bad for splitting out, like really bad for it. have a measurement of 26.5 by 29. We're gonna do each side separately. That looks much better than that. Now, I could probably close in the top, or I could have cut an angled piece for that. But having a complete background of red and then just coming around to each end, I think is gonna look a lot better. Automatically, your eyes are gonna kind of go here and there. They're not really gonna go up there because the roof line's already there open. So your eyes don't pick that up as much. It's not as noticeable as having just this open wall with a piece of wood here and two over there. That stuck out even worse. So this is just gonna look a lot better, I feel like. Well, that's gonna look much better than just having that open. Now I'm gonna try and mix up some white here. And the lid was actually not sealed on there tight. So this stuff is pretty thick. I'm gonna try and stir it up a little bit more, but I'm gonna try and use it. Hopefully it works. I really only need to do this board and this board up here, which this board, you're really not gonna see it because the roof portion is hinged and comes out level below it. So you're really not gonna see that unless you're coming out the road, then you may see it. So that's the only reason I'm gonna do that. Otherwise, probably wouldn't worry about it. I think it's gonna work good enough. And it'll go on thick right off the bat. So that's a plus. Yeah, this will work out just fine for what I need it to do. This is more like a putty than a paint. But it's working good, so that's all that matters, I guess. I think that looks pretty good. So I think with doing this, I'm gonna paint this red, this support here, and obviously the top, and then I think I'll paint the bottoms here white too, along with the front face. Everything above that, I don't know. Maybe I'll paint all this, because you will see it driving, you know, out the road coming to it, but I don't know, I think that was pretty good. Kind of accents the red, that way it's not all one color, kind of makes it pop. It's gonna be a lot more flashy than the past 2 years. There's a pretty good look of what it's gonna look like. Obviously, there's no roof on there. Well, the overhang roof, I should say. So a lot of that you won't see, but you will see underneath. So once I paint underneath here white, you will see all that. I think it's gonna turn out pretty nice. And there might be some other things that we could paint to get it to pop. But one thing at a time. So I'll continue painting probably tomorrow, and we'll see if I have to get some more red paint, because that I'm still not sure on till I do this whole wall, the end walls, the back, and then the outside of the end walls. we're gonna be cutting it pretty close. I only have about 1/8 of a can left, so I'm just not sure. I could only do 1 coat, then I know I would have enough, because then we really only have to do these walls here and then just touch up some spaces that I know I need. But I know it would look better and we'd get more coverage with 2 coats, and it would definitely be a much better water seal that way. So I'll see with that. But overall, so far, it is looking very nice. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. It's a few days later. I did not get a chance to work on this or paint the rest of that top. I think I made some more decisions in the last couple of days, and it kind of involves everything with moving this over to the trailer. I was trying to really figure out how I was going to go about doing that, and obviously this has a frame that's built underneath of it with the old go-kart frame that I used, and it has round tubing, it has square tubing, and then there's actually like little, I don't know, they're about 1 inch, 2 inches sticking down of metal tabs that stick down from the old frame. That's not really gonna work because I know it's gonna end up coming down somewhere on one of these supports on the trailer. And I'll try and show you that so you can kind of see square tubing, round tubing. Then you have this tongue that we added on there. And I don't know how well the camera's picking it up. In the back, you can see the tabs that are sticking down right here and right there. So those either need cut off, but the more I was thinking about it, I was thinking, well, if I leave that on there, I have to come up with some way to clamp it fast to the trailer, or put a piece of plywood down on this existing trailer, which would probably end up going, you wouldn't have to do the whole thing, but probably obviously the width of the produce stand itself. So that was an option. I think what I've came to a conclusion of doing is all these walls, so basically the stud walls that I built going the whole way around, are fastened. They're just screwed fast to the plywood and maybe some through the metal. I'm not 100% sure of that. Either way, I think I can pop the overall frame of the produce stand off by going around popping all the screws off, somehow lift it off, and then I'll be left with the plywood and this frame underneath. So what I ended up doing when I built this is we obviously have self-tapping screws going through this OSB into the metal, and it goes the whole way around. I ended up kind of drilling and making slots for the heads of these in these stud walls. So in order to get at those, I am faced with, this has to come off regardless. So I think what I want to do, pop this off, we'll get all these screws out, we'll pop this OSB off from the frame of the metal. We're gonna reuse this OSB, as terrible as it looks, and you know, it is what it is. But it's already cut, it's already to the size that it needs to be. We'll take this, we'll put it on the trailer, and then we'll just mount everything back fast how it was. I think that's probably the best thing for this, and we'll obviously, you know, anchor it as good as we can. But this whole frame here, this metal frame, it does have supports running through the center, but it is really flimsy. Whereas once it's on there, I don't think we're gonna run into that problem as much. So that's probably what we're gonna end up doing. So today's task is probably not gonna be painting or putting any more wood on. And I think I have come up with a solution for the bottom there. As bad as that looks right in that vicinity, it's gonna sit up higher. So you're gonna see that more than you do now. So I think whether I have to buy plywood or not, I'm not 100% sure of that. Not a big deal if I do, but I think what I wanna do is kind of like we did up at the top here, the whole way around, we put plywood. I think I'm gonna do that underneath because we do use that for storage and stuff like that. If the top shelf is full of produce, then we'll move on to the bottom, stuff like that. So I think I'm gonna end up doing that, and we're probably gonna paint that as well. So everything, for the most part, inside is gonna be painted, and it's just gonna look a little bit better, I think. So we're not gonna do any of that today. I think I'm just gonna jump on getting this trailer outside. They want a little bit warmer, they want sunny, and I'm gonna start trying to clean that up, see if the tires hold air, and kind of try and move forward with the trailer itself. Nice and sunny. The birds are starting to sing. Much better. Yeah, I might have to do a ratchet strap trick. I'll be shocked if this thing holds out in the air. Unfortunately, I still have not been able to get this to take any air. I've gotten the bead set a lot better. So for now, I think I'm gonna transition to, while it's nice out, get those boards off on each side. Maybe that front plate, because there is a lip on it. And we'll start wire brushing and cleaning everything up, I think. Yeah, that cleans up pretty nice. I'd say those weren't doing a whole heck of a lot anymore anyway. Yikes. Yeah, I've seen better. I've decided to take off the board brackets, at least on the side that the produce stand is going to be, on this edge, and I took them off the back. I'll leave that side on, and I'm also going to cut off, I cut one off already, but I'm going to cut these brackets off too, because to me that's just a place for somebody to smash their shin or their knee. And I don't need that, so we'll cut them off. The backside can stay on, not a huge deal. There. Both of those brackets are off. I'm going to try using 2 ratchet straps, kind of on the front side and the back side, see if I can get that pumped up. But first, I need to remove this plate. This has a lip on it. We could actually leave that on and just put the produce stand against it, but that side over there is starting to pull off anyway. And I think it's just because the bolt came out, but there's really no need for it on there. There. At this point, I have everything cut off and unbolted that I need off, and one off. It looks a little bit different for sure. I need to see if I can get that tire to hold air, and if not, then I need to figure something out for it. And now that I have, before I even mess with that, I'm going to clean everything up and get it down to the bare metal. I definitely made some progress on this trailer, that's for sure, which is a huge plus. I think we're pretty much ready for paint at this point. Everything's cleaned up for the most part. I didn't do anything with the wheels yet because I may have to pull them off and completely revamp those, change tires, whole works for that. So those won't be touched at this moment. But everything's cleaned up and it looks a heck of a lot better than it did. So I might try and tinker around with this tire a little bit more. Otherwise, I've made some good progress. So that's gonna do it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. This thing's coming together, which is what we want, obviously. The only thing left for the main produce stand is separate everything, paint some more stuff, and then we'll be able to lift this off. I think I came up with a solution to try and separate all this. So hopefully everything works out as far as that goes, but we'll see what happens. The main thing is to get that trailer ready for the produce stand to sit on there. So I think we're getting pretty close to being able to do that. So until next time, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Drop a like on the video. And hopefully spring is right around the corner. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.